Hello dear students, myself Susmita Rai, Assistant Professor Ghumjor Bunglo College, and today I welcome you all to another online learning class for the subject Geography. So today's topic for today's lesson is biodiversity. So let's move towards the content or the subtopics that we are going to discuss today in our class. So we are going to discuss about meaning and definition of biodiversity, classification of biodiversity, loss or extinction of biodiversity, importance of biodiversity and conservation of biodiversity. So biodiversity is a word, okay. It was first used in its longer form by Thomas Lovejoy in 1918. He used that term to describe the number of species in a given region, whereas the term biodiversity was given by Walter G. Rosen in 1985. Now, this term biodiversity has been derived from two words, or it is an amalgamation of two words. So, bio, it is a Greek word which means life, and diversity, it is derived from the Latin word diversitas, meaning variety or difference. Therefore, the literal meaning of term biodiversity is the variety of life. Now, let's see the definition of biodiversity. Students, now we are moving towards the definition of biodiversity. So, as you can see in the screen, United Nations Environment Programme defined biodiversity as the variety and variability of animals, plants and microorganisms and ecological complexes of which they are a part. In a simple term, what we can say is biodiversity is the variability and variety of all organisms, that is microorganisms, plants, animals including men of a given region or in the biosphere. Now we know biosphere exists in an interference of three domains, that is atmosphere, hydrosphere and lithosphere. There are variety of life in this domain of these three domains, okay. So this variety of life in the biosphere is known as biodiversity. Now we are moving towards the types of biodiversity. Types of biodiversity is also known as labels of biodiversity. There are three types or three labels of biodiversity, and these are genetic diversity, species diversity and ecosystem diversity. Now let us discuss about each diversity individually, okay. So genetic diversity. Genetic diversity, it is related with genes. So, the variation in the genes and genotypes within same species is considered as genetic diversity. As we all know, every individual is unique owing to their distinctive genes. For example, all the human beings are unique in their physical appearance, right? So, why they are different? They are unique, they are different from each other because of their distinctive genes. Now, for other examples, we can cite the different breeds or the variations within the same species of dog. Like dog is there, but we can find a variety of breed within dog. Like German Shepherd is there, Boxer is there, Bulldog is there, Pug is there, right? So all they are the result of genetic variations within the same species. Other examples we can cite the different varieties of rose. Rose is a flower, right? But we can find varieties of variations within the same species of rose. So, moving towards species diversity. Now, what is species diversity? Species diversity refers, or it takes into account the full range of species within a given region. And this species diversity is measured by species richness. Now, what is species richness? Species richness means number of species present in a unit of area or unit of land. So, some places have high species diversity, whereas some places do not. For example, species diversity can be found in a large number, or it is very rich in the undisturbed tropical rainforest, whereas species diversity are low in the areas like dry desert regions. So, the places which have very rich species diversity are known as hotspots. India also falls within the one of the country which is very rich in species diversity. There are 4 biodiversity hotspots in the country. These are the Himalayas, the Western Ghats, the Indo-Burma border and the Sunda lands. The Sunda lands, it includes the Nicobar group of islands, and several endemic species can be found in these hotspots regions. Now let's see another type of biodiversity, that is ecosystem diversity. Now there are varieties of ecosystem in a given region, right? Now what is ecosystem? Ecosystem is a relationship between, or it is a system where plants, animals and all the organisms live in a complete harmony with its abiotic environment. Okay, they are interdependent with each other. So each ecosystems have their own component, or they have their distinctive interlinked species which are based on the basis of their habitation, differences of habitation. Now there are varieties of ecosystem, like forest ecosystem is there, grassland ecosystem is there, pond ecosystem is there, right? So camel belongs to the desert ecosystem, and camel cannot thrive in a pond ecosystem. Even it cannot thrive in a grassland ecosystem. So there is a varieties of this ecosystem in a given region, and they constitute the ecosystem diversity. Now you can see here the pictures or the images that portrays genetic diversity. Here you can see the different breeds of dog. It is genetic diversity, and species diversity, where you can see the varieties of plants and animals in a given region. Then there you can see the ecosystem diversity, where you can see desert ecosystem, forest ecosystem and pond ecosystem in a single frame. Now let's move towards our another topic or another subtopic, that is loss or extinction of biodiversity. Now what is loss or extinction of biodiversity means? So it means, as you can see in your screen, loss of biodiversity is a decrease in diversity within a species or in an ecosystem or given geographic area or earth as a whole. Now maximum biodiversity loss in the world has been occurred in the tropical rainforest of Zaire Basin in Africa and Amazon Basin in South America. So there are certain causes that leads to the biodiversity loss. Now what are these causes? These are destruction of habitat, fragmentation of natural environment, degradation of natural environment, introduction of exotic species, disease, overexploitation, shifting cultivation, over-harvesting and illegal trade. Now let's see, or let's discuss about each causes individually. So there are several causes behind the diversity loss, and these causes are destruction of habitat, fragmentation of natural environment, degradation of natural environment, introduction of exotic species, disease, overexploitation, shifting cultivation, over-harvesting and illegal trade. Now we will discuss about each causes individually. So destruction of habitat. Destruction of habitat is the major cause of biodiversity loss. Now destruction of habitat occurs due to pollution, overexploitation, deforestation and global warming. Species, those which are physically large and those which live in forest or oceans, are mainly affected by the destruction of habitat. Now let's see next factor, that is fragmentation of natural environment. Division of large and continuous area and its natural environment due to construction of roads, railways, canals, towns, etc. They are converting a big area into a small pieces. So it is resulting into the biodiversity loss as it disturbs the species of plants and animals. Now next cause behind the biodiversity loss is degradation of natural environment. Now we all know that our natural environment is degrading day by day. due to overpopulation, due to pollution, due to modern industrialization, urbanization, deforestation, etc. Global warming and changing climatic patterns of the world are proof that our natural environment is degraded. Natural environment or degraded natural environment will create a conditions which are unfavorable for many of the species, which will lead towards its loss or its extinction. Now next is introduction of exotic species. Exotic species means those species which are carried out from outside. Okay, they are brought from some different places and it is kept or into the brought down into the native area. Now next factor is disease. Several species are suffering from variety of diseases and these diseases result in the loss of biodiversity. Also, human interference in wildlife increases the risk of disease and it destroys the biodiversity or it results in the biodiversity loss. Next factor is overexploitation. Overhunting, overfishing and overharvesting has contributed to the loss of biodiversity, killing numerous of species of plants and animals over several hundred of years. Next factor is shifting cultivation. Now shifting cultivation is one of the important factor for our environment degradation, and this results in the destruction of forest or it results in deforestation, as shifting cultivation is done in the forested areas by cutting down the trees. So destruction in the forest leads to the biodiversity loss or also sometimes leads to the extinction of species of plants and animals. Next factor, as you are seeing here, is overharvesting and illegal trade. Now overharvesting with the help of chemical fertilizers decreases the natural fertility of the soil, and decrease in natural fertility of the soil results in the loss of biodiversity in the soil or in the agricultural field. Now illegal trade in the form of poaching or any other form of hunting to earn more profit risks the chances of extinction of various species of animals. So students, now on the basis of biodiversity loss, there are or world species are of three types. These are threatened species, endangered species and extinct species. So threatened species are those species who are living in risk of losing their lives. They are still present in our planet Earth in a very huge number, but their number is steadily decreasing day by day. And according to the RED data book, about 66,000 plants and animal species in the world are threatened. Now example of threatened species are loggerhead sea turtle, northern harrier, etc. Now next species are endangered species. Now these species are the species which are in high risk of going to be extinct in the near future. Example, tiger, elephant, Indian wild ass, Kashmiri stag, etc. Now if we see in our local area, salamander, as you all know, right? Salamander is one kind of reptile and it is one of the endangered species. Now next one is extinct species. Now extinct species mean totally disappeared, okay, they are in no longer existence. So no member of these species remains alive anywhere in the earth, and these species are known as extinct species who are totally extinct. For example, we have dodo and woolly mammoth, etc. Also a huge gigantic dinosaurs, once they used to live in our planet Earth, right? Now they are extinct. So it is also an example of extinct species. Now, importance of biodiversity. So why is biodiversity important to us? Okay, so biodiversity is important because it plays its role in the creation of ecological pattern, occurrence and maintenance of ecosystem, economic benefits, and also aesthetic value and recreation of biodiversity. Now let's discuss about creation of ecological pattern. Ecological pattern are an outcome of biodiversity. Different plants and animals make up of a biome, okay, and that biome consists of different biodiversity. So we can find a various type of ecosystems in a terrestrial land area, like we can find grassland ecosystem, desert ecosystem, forest ecosystem. Also in the water or aquatic ecosystem, we can find pond ecosystem, river ecosystem, and all this ecosystem leads to the formation or creation of ecological pattern with varieties of species they possess, or each individual ecosystem possesses. Next importance of biodiversity is occurrence and maintenance of ecosystem. Now, occurrence of ecosystem rests on biodiversity. If there were no biodiversity, there were no different types of ecosystem. And ecosystem is also maintained by biodiversity itself, because there are diverse varieties of plants, animals and species which are dependent on each other for their food, shelter, or in simple terms for their survival. Thus, ecosystem is occurred and maintained by the biodiversity. Okay. Next importance of biodiversity is its economic benefits. Now, biodiversity provides several or countless benefits to human being. Economic resources for human beings are they acquire their economic resources from biotic resources, and these biotic resources are provided by biodiversity. Like we get several agricultural crops with fruits, medicinal herbs that cares and protects us, right? So all these we get or we obtain from biodiversity itself. We get it from forest, we get it from animals, yes or no? So this forms the economic benefits to the human beings. And biodiversity are widely valued as food pantry and genetic storehouse for biotechnology. Now, next importance of biodiversity lies in its aesthetic value and recreational values. Now, biodiversity is the wonderful and beautiful aspect of nature. Natural and wild landscapes provide, or it is aesthetic pleasing. Okay, it will attract people, because people will get an opportunity to move away from highly densely populated regions. Also, they provide, or biodiversity provide, recreational activities like traveling, watching birds in the nature, watching animals in the nature, and also watching different trees and shrubs in the natural environment. Now, next is our conservation of biodiversity. Now, biodiversity is so important for us, right? So, it need to be conserved, as we know that there are some species of plant and animals, they are threatened, some already have extinct and some are endangered. So, it is our prior duty to conserve the biodiversity. So, now let us discuss about conservation of biodiversity. Biodiversity conservation is the practice of protecting and preserving the wealth and variety of species, habitats, ecosystems and genetic diversity on the earth. And there are three objectives for conservation of biodiversity, and these objectives are to preserve the diversity of species, sustainable use of species and ecosystem, and to maintain the supporting systems and essential ecological processes which will as a consequence or as a result helps in the conservation of biodiversity. Now, there are different strategies for the conservation of biodiversity, and these strategies are in situ conservation and ex situ conservation. So, what is in situ conservation? In situ conservation means conservations of biodiversity or conservations of plants and animals in their place of origin. Whereas, ex situ conservation means off-site conservation, and it includes the conservations of varieties of species of plants and animals outside their place of origin. Now, there are different methods within in situ conservation and ex situ conservation. Now, what falls within in situ conservation are national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, biosphere reserves, sacred groups and sacred lakes. Whereas, in ex situ conservation, there are botanical gardens, zoos and zoological parks, gene banks, etc. So, students, now we are going to discuss about the different methods that fall within in situ conservation and ex situ conservation. Now, first we are going to discuss about the methods that fall within the in situ conservation of biodiversity, and first one is national park. So, what is national park? National park is a relatively large area consisting of one or several ecosystems which has not been altered or materially altered by human exploitation and human occupation. Here, species of plants and animals, geomorphological sites and habitats are preserved for spatial scientific education and research. Many countries over the world like United States of America, Canada, Germany, France, Britain, India have maintained national parks to conserve their biodiversity. In India, the first national park was set up as Hali National Park, which is now known as Jim Corbett National Park, in the year 1936 in Uttarakhand to save or to protect Bengal tiger. Okay. So next one is wildlife sanctuaries. Now, wildlife sanctuary is a type of natural reserve with well-marked boundary which is declared by the forest authority with the sanction by government that hunting, killing or capturing animals is strictly prohibited. However, collecting or harvesting forest resources are allowed in the wildlife sanctuaries. In India, recently there are 551 wildlife sanctuaries. So students, the next method within in situ conservation for biodiversity protection or conservation is biosphere reserves. The idea of biosphere reserve was first started by UNESCO in the year 1973-74. These biosphere reserves are the multi-purpose protected area to save or to protect genetic diversity of within the representative ecosystem, okay, or respective ecosystem. The main objectives of biosphere reserves are to conserve the diversity and integrity of plants, animals and microorganisms, to promote research on ecological conservation and other environment aspects, and next one is to provide facilities for education, awareness and training. Presently, there are 18 biosphere reserves in our country, India. Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve is the first biosphere reserve of the country, which was established in 1986. Next method of in situ conservation is sacred groups. Now, these sacred groups are the forest fragments which are communally protected, and usually they have a significant religious connotation for protecting communally. Hunting, poaching and logging is strictly prohibited in these areas or in these fragmented forest areas. Next method is sacred lakes. Sacred lakes are the lakes which was used by the priest for religious washing and religious navigation. For example, Kichio Palri Lake of Sikkim. Not even a single branch is allowed to cut from these areas. Also, aquatic flora and fauna are safe or protected within these sacred lakes. Okay, so I have already told you the next strategy for conserving biodiversity is ex situ conservation. Now, ex situ conservation means off-site conservation where species of plants and animals are protected outside from the place of their origin. It includes botanical gardens, zoos and zoological parks, gene banks, nurseries, laboratories, etc. So let us discuss about the first method, that is botanical garden. Botanical gardens helps in ex situ conservation under human supervision. In these gardens, species of plants are brought from different sites and are kept in gardens to nurture. For example, I will give you a local example, okay. We have one botanical garden in our town, that is Darjeeling, and the name of the botanical garden is Lloyd Botanical Garden, which is popularly known as Fulbari. Now, next method of ex situ conservation is zoos and zoological park. Zoos and zoological parks are developed to protect animals. In zoos and zoological parks, favorable conditions are developed or maintained for the protection of different species of animals. For example, we have local zoo in our place. Okay, an example is Padmaja Naidu Himalayan Zoological Park. Students, next method that fall within ex situ conservation is gene banks. Now, gene banks are important way to conserve genetic resources. They provide safe storage for various seeds. Thus, they are defined as the stock of variable seeds. Normally, gene banks keep the seeds in a germinating situation, okay, germinating condition. So, they are known as the stocks of variable seeds. So, students, with the discussion of different strategies for conserving biodiversity, I have come to an end of my today's class. So, thank you.